Act 2 Start of UA Chapter 16. Lunchtime that day. Roomy point of view. Walking with my food tray to the lunch table, filled with the ladies of our class, sitting down beside Mo, and beginning to eat, starting with the rice. Namuri and you stop talking, and Namuri stares at me with a playful expression, while you does the same, but with a more gently concerned one. So, a couple of the boys told me what happened this morning. What's up with that? Namuri started the conversation. Swallowing rice, I began, gesturing with a spork. Speaking casually. Not interested in getting into the logistics for you's sake. Bourbon used his quirk to try and have his way with me this morning, and Kaido beat the crap out of him for it. And Bourbon got expelled. There's not really much else to say. Continuing to eat, Ryuko speaking between eating, eyes closed in a calm manner of speaking. Sean said he saw the two of you leaving the women's bathroom together this morning, after the whole Bourbon incident. I turned my head away from everyone spewing rice all over the place, before I looked to her with a heavy blush. He did. I sound off in a higher pitch voice than before. Namuri laid her hands on my shoulders, gently shaking me with an excited look on her face. Ooh. I knew it. You two did do something together this morning, didn't you? Come on. Spill, girl. I want to hear about it. My eyes begin to swirl in my head as I'm shaken, speaking in a voice of plead as I make my case. I swear. Whatever you think happened, didn't happen. He just took me somewhere private after the boys walked into the classroom, so I could get dressed. Honest. Namuri eeped in excitement, eyes closed and a subtle blush, thinking of perverted things as she continued on. Does that mean he saw you naked? I avert my gaze with embarrassment. Raising a fist, shaking at chest level. Namuri, you'd better back off. Oh, come on, girl. Spill. We're all girls here. We can keep a secret. Come on. What really happened in there? Anyone can tell by how the two of you act around each other in class, that you like each other. So, surely something happened in there. I continue to shake my fist chest level, closing my eyes as I confessed in a flustered tone, my bunny tail uncontrollably wiggling and ears twitching different directions in fluster. If you must know. We kissed. Yu's expression turned to that of animated shock, her eyes empty and overly animated in the moment. The sound of a glass light bulb breaking sounds off from her side of the table. Namuri clapped her hands together near her face, cheering in an excited squeal. Oh. I just knew something happened in that bathroom. How did it feel? Was he a good kisser? Come on, spill, girl. I speak over her, trying to be considerate to my friend, Yu, who I know, liked Kaido too. I can't imagine how this information is hitting her right now. Listening about someone else living out her fantasy. Can we please drop this subject? It's nobody's business. Okay. So just drop it. I notice in the corner of my eye, Yu lowering her head across the table, in her own silence. Oh, woo, fine. But you're going to have to give us the juicy details tomorrow. Namuri backs off, recognizing my frustration was growing. I bring my eyes onto Yu, who was being stared at in silence by Mo, who had also noticed Yu's change in D minor. I watch for a little while, before finally speaking. Yu, I dash, but interrupted, ultimately by the man himself. Yu. Rumi. Can we talk? In private. Just for a moment. It's important. Kaido asked, stopping at the end of the table, closest to Yu, who sat at a corner. Yu sat up straight and tries to pretend everything was okay. Looking up at him with this not so convincing smile. Oh, sure. I stare over at her for a moment, before I stood up. Silently agreeing. A few minutes later. In a stairwell. Sitting with each other at the halfway point of a stairwell. In private, we sat for a minute at the least, in silence, staring at Kaido from either side of him. Awaiting to hear why he brought us here. I hope I don't come off as an over-cocky asshat when I say this. But I recognized, and knew, for at least a year now. You seemed, a tad puzzled, not seeing what it was he was saying. Without context it was up in the air. Recognized what? He glared over at her with a defeated expression. That you're chasing me. Both of you. Giving off a blush she averted her gaze, looking ahead, down the stairs. Oh. So, you knew. He nods, continuing to stare at her. Silent for at least a minute before he continued. I feel like there's nothing I can say right now, that'll stop things from becoming awkward between us you. And all I want right now, is to know that something like this, won't split us apart as friends, especially over time. But I don't think anything I can think of, or possibly say, will change how it'll play out now. I know the feelings inside of you. I've had my heart rejected before, by people I cared about, friends, and strangers alike. I know all too well, it's hard to be friends with someone, to watch and surround yourself with someone you want more from, to be more to. Because it's torture. He averted his gaze as well, looking ahead down the stairs with her. Sighing deeply. I part my lips, surprised by his approach to all this. I knew he'd eventually address you, she's our best friend. And it was only a matter of time before he had to address her. But doing it day one, the day of. And head on. Sitting back against the stairs, he stares up at the next set of stairs above us. Sighing again before he continued anew. I know that it's a bit too late to admit this now, given how it played out. But I'd rather give clarity, than let you wonder the rest of your life, having never asked. I love you, and of course I love Rumi too. I could have swung either way. And my feelings wouldn't have changed on the matter. I recognized every subtle attempt either of you threw my way to invite me in. And I dodged and deflected each and every one of them, because I didn't want to sit in this exact situation, watching the other, who I didn't pick, suffer. I love you too, yes, but you're both also my closest friends. It might sound strange. But I valued our friendship, far higher, than I did any sense or interest in love. I didn't want to hurt anyone or make it awkward for anyone. If I could help it. But even I have my limits, and at some point, I was always going to have to crack, shatter inward and let myself start living my life. Falling into silence after that, he closed his eyes. Blushing hard, with tears building in her eyes, sitting forwards, now letting her head hang. Still, I stay in silence. Grabbing my hand as he sat, I look from you, onto him, squinting his eyes at me. With a hurt look in his eyes. I see the way you look at me. For action, for an idea, guidance. Even though you know, anything I say, wouldn't change things. Nothing I could say, would be anything different than what you already have. I tisk, averting my gaze from the two. Looking down the stairwell. But I agree with Kaido. This is going to put a wedge. I brainstorm, trying to think of anything Kaido hasn't already said, to try and lighten this for you. Sitting forwards, Kaido spoke in a defeated tone, speaking one last Hail Mary. Feel free to punch me for the suggestion. But I've got just one last idea on how to fix it. But it's really raunchy. But, we could give being a polyamorous group a try. I turn into a heavy blush, you doing the same, as we widen our eyes, looking onto him with shock to the suggestion. With a straight face, staring down the stairwell. No shame in his eyes. No blush, speaking blunt. Think for a moment, before you diss it. Isn't this exactly what we've been doing for the last year? You've played cat and mouse in front of each other with me for almost 2 years now. And it never seemed to get under your skin. Sure, you'd get jealous once in a while, but it was a competition at the time. This wouldn't be a competition like it was up to now. Because you'd both already won in this situation. Of course, it's not my decision to make. Like I said, I could have swung either direction. This is ultimately a decision for the two of you, to make. Not me. I stare with an open mouth, expressive blush, my face was almost a tomato in the moment. You experiencing the same kind of expression. Staring at him in unison. Talk about being bold. He's serious about it too. If I'd heard this sort of request from anyone else, I'd punch them and call them a pervert for even considering the idea. But this is Kaido we're talking about here. Kaido's more of an idiot than he is a pervert. So, I know, when he's suggesting something so over the top like this. It's unfortunately, because he really is, trying to make everyone else happy. Without sacrificing anything. I close my eyes, averting my gaze from them, reopening them as I looked at a wall, continuing to blush hard. Damn it, Kaido. I hate when you act all serious like this. You always cut deep into the feelings of others. You asshat. I think to myself, returning my sight onto you. You is my best friend, we've been friends since middle school. Polar opposites. She's shy and I'm bold. And that dynamic drew us to each other after we met, through Kaido, in middle school. We get along really well, all things considered, and we can hold conversations down from sunset to sunrise, never getting bored. If I was going to share this idiot with anyone, I'd want it to be with her. Damn it all. I can tell by the look on her face, she's considering it too. And just as conflicted as me, but she's too timid to admit her interests in such a crazy idea. So, I'll give the first push. If you's fine with sharing a guy together, I won't protest. Just, don't forget he said yes to me first. So, remember I won this competition. Hear me, you. I snarl in embarrassment. She bursts into a deeper blush, looking to me with shock. Really? Why you interrupting her timid stuttering. Don't drag this on any more than it has to be you. Before I end up changing my mind. I can tell by the way you're acting, you want to give it a try too. Now just shut up and kiss him already, you damn soft-spoken idiot. I snarl, averting my gaze with arms crossed. Kaido raised his arms, blushing as he protested passively. Wait. Kiss. We don't have to rush into that. One step at a time and all that. He embarrassedly spoke, trying to slow things down. I hope you truly understand what you've dug yourself into, Kaido. I expect equal treatment and attention as you. No favoritism. Understand? I confront, with my bunny ears twitching. End of chapter 16.